I think it's pretty safe to say that Destiny 2 is in a rough place. Especially in the last season, the community has been more and more unhappy with the state of the game, and things are starting to reach their breaking point for the player base. Noticing this, Bungie recently sent out a survey to a select number of players, likely those who have taken a bit of a break from the game. In the survey, they ask 5 different questions about what you enjoyed in the last week, what you disliked, if you're likely to recommend the game to a friend, and if you're likely to play the next season of Destiny. In this video, I want to answer the larger question that I think Bungie is trying to find the answer to by sending out these surveys. Why has Destiny lost its appeal? I believe there are quite a few reasons for the lack of interest from the community, and the problems go a bit deeper than just the last few months of the game. Season of the Worthy has not single-handedly ruined the game. If anything, Season of the Worthy has highlighted Destiny 2's core issues that have continued to plague the game since release. One of the most glaring problems in Destiny 2 is the lack of focus on core activities. Core activities being things like strikes, Crucible, Gambit, and raids. Running strikes, playing Crucible, and raiding weekly was about all the community did back in Destiny 1, but the simple depth of these core activities and incentive to play them has been completely missing in Destiny 2. While it's nice to have content that extends beyond those 3 activities, I believe it's equally, if not more important, to focus on the game's core activities. In the past, Bungie designed gameplay loops that focused on their core activities that kept people engaged and returning week after week. The first core activity I want to focus on in this video is strikes. I plan to cover all the core activities in future videos, but I think strikes are deserving of their own video. Strikes in Destiny 1 were more than just another powerful drop. In Destiny 1 you had both the Heroic playlist and the Nightfall strike. The Heroic playlist did have weekly rewards for completing them, similar to Destiny 2, but there were much more reasons to run the strikes for hours. The biggest reason for this was strike-specific loot. Strike-specific loot has actually been a part of Destiny since its first year. Initially it was with weapons like Hopscotch Pilgrim that had a random chance of dropping at the end of a strike. Hopscotch Pilgrim was one of the best pulse rifles in the game, and I remember running Tiger Strikes for hours with my friends to have a chance at getting one of these. Then with the release of Taken King, strike-specific loot was improved upon by adding specific weapons and armor to drop from specific strike bosses. The Darkblade could drop either a helmet for the Titans or a fusion rifle. The Undying Mind could drop the infamous Imago Loop hand cannon. And who else remembers farming Omnigul for the Grasp of Malak pulse rifle? Strike-specific loot was made even more interesting by requiring players to defeat bosses in certain ways. For example, in the Shield Brothers strike you had to kill the Cannon Brother first in order to get some unique gauntlets that would only drop from the second brother. In the Dust Palace strike, you could acquire 3 different cloaks depending on which Scion boss you killed last: Void, Arc, and Solar. These additions of strike-specific loot and the way in which they were dynamically acquired was a perfect way to keep players engaged. Nightfall versions increased the chance of strike-specific loot to drop. You'd see people farm all week long for a Fatebringer roll of the Imago Loop and the Undying Mind strike. I remember watching Slayeridge run this strike over and over again for a chance at that Fatebringer roll. Now in Destiny 2, strikes give you powerful drops. Nightfalls also give you powerful drops. And while there is a small number of strike-specific loot, it's exclusive to just the Nightfalls, and frankly there's not enough of it, and the loot just sucks. Nightfalls in Destiny 1 were also more meaningful. There are a number of reasons for this, one of them being exotics. This leads into another problem in Destiny 2, which is the oversaturation of exotics and the easy way of obtaining them. In Destiny 1, running a Nightfall was one of the best ways to have a chance at getting an exotic, which made them worth running every single week. Another reason is it felt like an event every week. Like, oh hey, it's Lightswitch Arcburn Omnigul this week, just a heads up we're about to get wrecked. Or, it's Solarburn Specialist Sepix Prime, bring your Black Hammer. When the Nightfall was one set strike per week and it had meticulously designed modifiers that made them stand out, was when the Nightfall really felt special. For a while in Destiny 2, you had a bunch of Nightfalls to choose from. You gotta pick the modifiers, and the rewards were just powerful drops. Recently, this has been changed in Shadowkeep with Ordeal Nightfalls, but the modifiers force certain weapon types for perks like Unstoppable and Barrier, which nobody really likes. I mean, look at why Prestige Raids failed. They forced certain weapons and loadouts, and nobody liked that. So I'm not really sure why they thought doing that for the Nightfall was also a good idea. Not to mention that the loot from Nightfalls are just awful. Just another powerful drop. Even with the brand new ultra hard tedious Grandmaster Nightfalls, the best you can get is a title. It's frustrating to see Heroic Strikes and Nightfalls be in such a great place in Destiny 1, and in Destiny 2 they're just another powerful drop with no incentive to run the strike beyond a few powerfuls. This has been the state of strikes since Destiny 2's launch, and I just don't understand how after all this time they think the solution is forced loadouts, no additional strike-specific loot, and literally no replayability beyond the powerful drop. I've been recently replaying Destiny 1 on a new character, and one thing I noticed during the Taken King was how the strikes really pertain to the story after the campaign. For instance, Alakul was a foster son of Oryx who tried to lead a rebellion against him. Oryx got pissed off and sent Alakul to a dark corner of the Dreadnought, never to see the light of day. After we destroy Oryx in our realm, Eris wanted to make sure Alakul couldn't take over as King of the Hive, so she sends us to find him and kill him. And that's the reason for the Sunless Self strike. In Destiny 2, however, when Bungie got feedback that strikes in vanilla Destiny 2 didn't feel part of the story, Bungie decided to just make a dumbed down version of the strikes to replace story missions. Then, after the campaign, you go do the new strikes just to learn that they're exactly the same as the story missions you just ran, but this time a little tougher. This trend has continued through Shadowkeep and is still one of my least favorite decisions Bungie has ever made. In a nutshell, here's what I think needs to happen to strikes. Strike-specific loot. This needs to be added to both Nightfalls and the Heroic playlist. Whether they add these in as random drops or introduce a similar skeleton key system from Destiny 1 Year 3 to open a special chest, either way, they just need to introduce and continue to add new strike-specific loot just like Destiny 1. Nightfalls. Personally, I think they should just remove the 5 different difficulties they have and instead focus on creating that one solid Nightfall that the whole community can experience. Something like a Light Switch Arcburn Omnigul really brought the community together to discuss the best ways to do it, and it was super memorable to run a strike as crazy as that. I also think Nightfalls should be one of your primary sources for exotics, so there's even more reason to run them. Lastly, keep adding strikes. If we got a new strike in a storyline revolving around it each season instead of a pointless horde mode, I think that'd feel a lot better. Strikes could stay in the game after a season ends, unlike a disposable horde mode that comes and goes. They would actually add to the game, and I'd love to see a new strike more than just once a year. Strikes are some of the best content in Destiny, and they're extremely underutilized right now. If Bungie were able to focus on just one aspect though, I think it'd be strike-specific loot. This is a looter shooter after all, and if there isn't loot to chase, then what are we doing here? But those are just my thoughts, so let me know yours in the comments below. How do you think Bungie might improve strikes in Destiny? What else in Destiny is pushing you away from the game? But now, I'm going to leave you guys with some Destiny 1 Nightfall gameplay. I recently went back and played the Nightfall with a buddy of mine, and we had a pretty good time, so I hope you enjoy the gameplay. Okay, so here we go. We got Grounded, which is awful, Brawler, Void Burn, and Epic. I don't know what the Nightfall is. It doesn't tell us, right?
If we're going to Earth, it's going to be Omnigul. We're flying. Oh, could be anything.
Whether we wanted it or not,
Oh!
we've stepped into war.
We stepped into war with the Cabal, boss!
One by one.
What are the odds,
Valis to
bro?
Auric.
Valis to Auric.
From what I...
Dude, I just can't believe that there's so many people that still play this game.
It's amazing. It's because there's other people who realize which Destiny is the best. You know what I mean? It's over the door. Oh, did we forget something? Oh, we totally did.
Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, this Mars is so much better. Holy shit. We shouldn't have taken.
Dude, the triple tap.
Alright, I'm pulling this heavy. You ready?
Where you at, bro? Never mind, this guy's a crazy man. Oh my god, dude, this guy's a wizard. Woo. Oh my god, dude, the Cabal and their shield moves.
Come into the Thunderdome!
Attaboy. He's this the last guy? It is. See you later.
Nice.
Soul Progeny. That's the guy we fought in the main campaign. Oh, we got a bitch.
Oh, fucking
What?
immune. Oh man.
I was in the air in grounded zone, in the void. Oh, dude, he's going down quick. Yep, see you later.
Woo!
Ooh, we cruised past.
Wow. Oh, don't go up and sword him, please.
There he is, man, in all his glory.
You gotta wait till the door shuts, remember?
Look at this triple tap action. Holy crap.
I hate his fucking tiny head. Oh, he's crotating. Oh, he's crotating back. As soon as I get a nade back. Oh, I fell down, I fell down, I fell down. Oh, I'm fucked, dude. Oh, I thought it was falling. Holy shit, I thought I was... Whoa! I see his little teeny head. He's dropped down, he's dropped down.
There he
That's
goes. See you later.
Valus to
What could
Ark has
drop
finally
here?
been
A scout
defeated and
rifle,
the Cabal
right?
command dealt a great blow.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But in the darkness rising, more fleets will come and new leaders will
Try it.
rise.
Ooh, the tread
We
upon
must be ready
stars.
to face them all.
Alright, what is
Oh, yeah, the treads upon bars. Ooh, 18 strange coins, baby. There, yeah, that was fun. That was good.